Welcome to your practice. Please find a comfortable posture. This void, the voidal energy, it's beyond the observer, it's beyond the witnessing. Knowledge of it is what we're after. When we sit, we're looking to have this really an experience. We are experiencing what we're experiencing is that, as opposed to whatever you may label it or name it. So, if we're operating outside of that knowledge, we might say, I'm a person in a meditation class having an aha moment or something where I'm seeking clarity. And this non dual knowledge is a flip. It's saying, no, 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 that's not what's really going on. What's really going on is this experience of that. And then when we describe this experience as something else, a bunch of people sitting in a Zoom room, in our home, our space, our eyes closed, all these labels, names, and forms is part of this habit that draws us into really an endless stream of more names and forms. Nama Rupa, Nama, name, Rupa, form. And as we practice, as we get comfortable and we settle into our practice, we can feel the pressure that these names and forms exhibit on consciousness. They're shaping it, they're shaping consciousness. And consciousness is actually quite free, it takes on whatever shape the names and forms give it. That's why we're all sort of experiencing a different reality right now, different world. But the actual reality, that which is beyond names and forms, isn't different. We couldn't tell, but it has no attribute. So it must be the same for all of us. It is what is beyond name and form. But even the wording beyond is a little misleading because it's nothing different from this experience. It's not different from what's happening right now. And so, sitting into a meditation practice is this recognition that this experience is that voidal presence that is completely independent and free of all tarnish. That this fundamental reality is what we've always been experiencing. But when the habit of labeling it with name and form, we go into an endless web, an endless ocean of karma, of decisions and choices. And honestly, it's pretty fun sometimes. It's intriguing sometimes, this endless ocean. It's a playground until, like all good stories, sometimes it can feel like a prison. And it's when this story, this ability for consciousness to play in the world of name and form, when it gets convinced that the world of name and form is real, that we start to suffer. And so teachings like what we're practicing exist to help unhook these habits, to rest back into the empty, voidal state where we can be free again. Limitless freedom beyond name and form. It is not some shift into a permanent altered state. The idea that you could shift into some permanent altered state, that whole idea only exists in name and form. What's happening right now is already the voidal, empty state with this picture shadow show happening over it of name and form. But what we call our breath, what we call our meditation posture, what we call our listening skills, this Zoom room, all these things that have names and forms, in reality, is this nameless thing that we're calling the voidal state tonight. And so, in a very real sense, we are not working towards something. We are not waiting for or striving for some goal. More accurate is to think of it as that we are unwinding these habits of name and form that may be present through much of your day. You're giving time in your waking state to unwind these habits of name and form. This leads to the direct experience of this as that empty, limitless, voidal awareness. So bring into your perception this knowing that anything that arises, thought, breath, motion, body sensation, are just habits of name and form. What else could they be? You go through much of your day, your body is there, but you are not conscious of your body. It is only when the habit, body, is called into the mind that it becomes a body. But once you're off thinking about some other thought, doing some other activity where your body is not as attentive, becomes unconscious and it just exists as it is without name and form. The same is true when you go to sleep. The body loses name and form. Now I'll take a few moments to let the unwinding happen, to grow confident, to grow comfortable in this very natural process. It is very natural to not be burdened by the slew of name and form that for many of us, our lives are constantly trying to pepper with and fill in with. To just realize that this spigot, this flowing energy that names everything, labels everything, need not be continuous. There can be gaps. It can exhaust itself. It can dry up. And in the wake of that will be this empty, voidal quiet. That is your true voice. That is your true face. The thing that's on top of your body would be a mask, a name, and a form. takes a little bit of willingness, a little bit of trust, a little bit of knowing that you've been there. You understand this beautiful quality of reality. And what's brings you here. That there's some innate knowing for yourself that can let the flowing nature of habitual name and form and label run its course and tire itself out. That there is this part of your consciousness that is eagerly waiting and patient to have that pause, that gap. It's patient because it knows that it's already here. It's eager because it knows how sweet that quiet feels when the habits disappear. And most importantly, that part of you, it knows that it can't really do anything about it. That the act of trying, the act of efforting, in some way only takes you further. It's less accurate to think of it that way. And so as you sit, you really surrender or let go to this very basic life principle. You need not ask, is this it? You need not wonder. Absolve the thoughts as though you were resting the seat of attention on a pinprick, a tiniest point in the center of your feeling, whatever feels like the center of being. You just perch yourself right on it and watch the tides of name and form wash out to sea. These habits of name and form, they are not disturbances. They are not obstacles, even. They are not the enemy. They are just an outpouring of consciousness. They will help you understand. And as you understand, you return to the empty, voidal state. There is no other. There is no separate. There is just the shadow show of name and form happening on top of reality. But reality does not disappear or go away. How could it be reality if it did? That the realization that you need not cling to even a single name or form, that you exist as reality without name or form. Cling not to the habit of restraint. If you need to move or adjust your body, just let it happen. Move on from the idea of a struggle, from the idea of a hardship. They do not exist in reality. You are so free, you can perpetuate hardship when it does not exist. Release the ideas of names and forms. They will flow back as karma, as needed. You need not hold on tightly or loose. The names and the forms, they cannot go anywhere. Instead, understand that the names and the forms are not. They are just reality. Who can these names and forms affect? Who do they bog down? Who do they riddle with confusion and trouble? Only someone in name and form. This void, this chasm of quiet reality cannot be affected, cannot be touched. It is not a choice. It is not one or the other. Feel in your direct experience motionless, silent, eternal. My names and forms, they may just come and go like the breeze. Be willing, be ready for the names and forms to disappear. There's nothing to do. Relax from the practice.